partner.
All right, everyone. We are live. How's it going, guys? Got the Ed Ruth Google Hangout here coming at you. My man Ed Ruth right there. How's it going, Ed?
What's going on?
Good. We got 4 fans here. They're going to ask Ed some questions. Also, we have Twitter questions going on. If you want to get involved, ask Ed a question. You can tweet us. You can tweet at USA Wrestling or hashtag Hang with Ed. So we'll pull your questions from Twitter, or you can hop on the Google Plus Q&A app I have opened up for you and type your questions in there, and it'll come up for us to take a peek at too. Just introduce our Ed fans for you real quick. Got Andrew right there. How's it going, Andrew?
Hey.
We got William and Sarah. They actually wrestle out Beat the Streets in New York.
Hi.
How's it going?
And we got Zach Dominguez here.
How you doing?
How's it going?
Well, just want to open it up. I guess I know, Zach, you got a lot of questions, so I'll start with you. First question for Mr. Ruth.
All right, Ed. This is a tough one, so I'll start off easy. If you can guess what age you were when you knew you were a wrestler for life, when do you think that was?
It's the easy one. I was 20.
Right.
20 years old, man.
It's definitely 20.
Let's kick it over to William. Your first question for Ed.
How long you been wrestling?
For about 14 years now.
14 years. How old are you now?
23.
23. Wow. I wrestled that long.
Sarah, you got a question for Ed?
Yeah. So a lot of people would argue that wrestling is one of the most mentally taxing sports out there. So what do you think about before your matches to enter the right mindset to wrestle your best?
I always think, well, it depends on where I'm at or what match it is. If it's like the NCAA's, Big Tens, a match that's really kind of big and my opponent is somebody that, is like somebody I see as like a really worthy adversary, somebody that's like, wow, okay, anything can happen in this match. Usually during those matches, I'm always thinking about, okay, I'm nervous. I'm kind of shaking in my boots. Now, if I'm nervous, I just wonder how nervous this guy is, and then that's what I usually play off of. And then once I step out there on the mat, it's just I can kind of see it. Some guys just get really nervous. They don't want to move. They don't want to perform. They want to play it safe. They don't want to take shots. And once you see that, and you can just really just take it to them. You just like take shots or snap them down. Those guys, they're just standing still.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Andrew, my man, I know you're a big Ed Ruth fan.
Yeah. So my question is, how does it feel to become a 3-time national champ?
It feels good actually. I didn't think about it before. Like right after it happened, it was like, wow, I just won this bad boy 3 times, and it was like, I was always thinking about that last year. The first year actually, and I'm just like, geez, if I just went a little bit harder, maybe if I take my leg up, and then all these what ifs come into play. But being the 3-time national champion is just like you don't really notice it until somebody says something. And it's kind of like hanging over your head. It's like you ever see The Sims where they have the diamond? It's just like sitting over their head. It's like when somebody says that, it's like it's hanging over your head. And, that's how they refer to you. They say this, and then your last name becomes 3-time national champ. You become 2-time national champ, and then that's when you're like, wow, I am that. Like that's kind of cool. And it feels good.
There was no pressure, was there, last year?
There was, but it was all in the beginning of the tournament. So I was looking at it, I was like, dang, man, it's my second year being second seed. But actually, my third year, actually. So I was only seeded first once. But I was like, wow, this is like my third year being the second seed, and I'm just like, I got a hard way to go. I got all these monsters until I get to the finals. But, the pressure kind of came off after Gabe Dean match, because that's the one that I was looking forward to myself.
Yeah, talk about that, man. I mean, what were your thoughts about that whole series? You pinned him, and he beat you unexpectedly, and then you had him. You knew you had him in the semis. I mean, what was that like for you?
Um, it was something that everybody kept playing up to me. They were like, "Hey, you have Gabe Dean. He's on your side of the bracket. What do you think's gonna happen? How do you feel about this match?" You know, people just kept making me think about it. And after that, it was just like, I just kind of accepted it. I was like, you know what? Whatever happens in this match, just gonna take it to him, and we'll go back and forth. And this will probably be one of my hardest matches that I ever wrestled. And I can say it was one of my hardest matches in college. But just because there was just so much going into that match, it was like, we were both 1-1, and it could have went either way. He was doing good, I was doing good, and it was made it exciting. And as soon as I stepped out there on the mat, it was just like now or never. And, when it's your senior year, you just don't want to leave anything out there that you don't want to take anything off the mat that you could have left on the mat, basically.
Right. Well, I want to kick it back through you guys one more time. Get you some questions again. Then we'll grab some Twitter questions, and if you guys have any other final questions, we'll get to it. Zach, any other another question for Ed?
Yeah, Ed, who was the wrestler you looked up to when you were younger, all those many years ago when you started wrestling?
Wow. I don't know. To be honest with you, I didn't really start watching wrestling until I got to college. So I didn't really. Okay, this is kind of embarrassing, but when I had Kel Sanderson's shoes, and then somebody told me that Kel was your coach. And then I started looking into him. Like, it was my senior year. I was like, who is Kel? I'm looking at his shoes. I'm like, okay, he has to be somebody. He has shoes. So, I get there, and then all of a sudden I find out this man's undefeated. He's an Olympic champion, all that. I'm like, psh. I go out there and wrestle him. He just rolls me around like a rag doll. I was like, wow. So, I mean, like, wow, I wasn't really looking up to wrestlers. I always watched, like, Dragon Ball Z and Shaolin monks, and how they train all their life, and as soon as they set them out into society, they're just like beating up big guys, and they look like little small, scrawny guys, or they're just like really physique. And I always really looked up to stuff like that, just people who really put all their dedication into their bodies and train really well. Once I got to college, I kind of took a lot of my training to my own hands. I had my coaches, and at the same time, I could train myself. So it was just like, kind of just took off with that. Then I started watching a lot of boxing videos right before matches. Like, I would watch Mike Tyson. He's like, I watch his interviews and just laugh. And I kind of just looked up to like how intense he was. Him. I guess you can kind of say I looked up to boxers once I got to college.
You're not going to switch on us, are you, Ed?
No, we got to go through with the whole freestyle thing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm starting to get my feet wet in that. I'm starting to feel a lot better about it now.
Well, good.
William, you got another question, Fred?
All right. So, sometimes you have those matches where you just get mentally frustrated. You can't, you can't shoot on the guy, and you're working your hand fighting, and that you're beating this guy, but you can't take a shot at him. That there's like a crucial time in the match, and you're down, let's say 2 points. How do you handle that mental frustration?
Wow, there's a trick to that, actually. It's like, you're like, okay, I'm 2 points down. This guy wants to stay up. He's not going to take a shot. And, you can expect the guy to back up the whole time. And my whole take was I try to think about it like it was the beginning of the match. Like, when you first come in the beginning of the match, you take those shots. Those shots are like hard shots, clean shots. You just get aggressive with the guy. And I try to think of it like that. I try to not kind of push the pace too much, try and make him feel that I'm rushed or I want to go in there and attack the guy. It's more like you just want to hang out. I just hang out with him, tie up with him, just kind of play around with it. And then when I see my opportunity, I go for the shot as fast as I can. But I just feel like if I start attacking this guy, And I start giving him all types of clues, and he could see me coming from a mile away because he knows what my intentions are. So it just I kind of play around with that. There were some times I was down, I had to take a shot, and it just like, it was like now or never. But I just kind of just not pay attention to the time. You pay attention to the time, then you'll rush yourself, and then you'll make a mistake.
Sarah, you got a question for Ed?
Yeah. What's your biggest motivating factor in maintaining a healthy diet?
Um, wow, biggest motivating factor, just the fact that I feel good. Cause if I eat fast food or anything like that, I kind of just feel sluggish. One, actually, I think it was Monday. I was driving back from Philly, and I had McDonald's right before practice. But I was coming off the road, so I drive up to practice, hop right out the car, run in, just so I can try and be there at a respectable time, because I was like a little late, but they knew I was coming from Philly. And as soon as I stepped on the mat, I started moving, juking, whatever. I felt the McDonald's. It felt like a block of clay in my stomach, and it was just weighing me down so heavy. Things like when I think about stuff like that, it's like, all right, now I can eat this apple and some celery and some carrots and drink some water and feel great, or I can have this delicious burger and feel terrible. So I think about that.
Nice question. Andrew, you got another one for Ed?
Yeah, to piggyback off of Sarah's question, what kind of diet plan do you prefer? Because in the past I've had a lot of downfalls dealing with my weight management.
You said a diet plan or?
Yeah, just any advice for diet?
Uh, you want to hear the cold hard truth about it?
Yeah, sure.
You're gonna have to let go of your taste buds. I'll be honest with you. When I don't pay attention to my taste buds at all. I can eat anything and shove whatever down my throat. And I've gotten to the point where I can just ignore anything and I can just eat just healthy. Because half the time when you're eating healthy, you're eating like salads and anything that you don't want to put weight on you. So either if you eat a salad without ranch dressing, that'll do so much more for you, because ranch dressing has all this processed food and all that, and it has calories in it itself. But it's just like getting used to things like that. And a diet is, you just gotta kind of look into it a little bit, and you kind of realize that there's a lot of things that you're eating that your body doesn't need at all. There's things that your body can't process. And if you get used to eating stuff that you're actually supposed to eat, which doesn't taste that great at all, like everything else is just, everything in life is just dolled up. The sugar, spice, whatever people can put on it to make it taste better. But if you just get used to eating like raw foods and less toppings and whatever, then that's just maintaining a good diet right there. And it can be hard during the season because you want to eat things that you're used to or that's kind of custom. You see everybody else eating it, but you just gotta actually pay attention to how you feel, and that'll actually help you maintain your diet better. If you go into practice off of eating, maybe some fruits or something, and your body feels hydrated and all that, you're gonna feel better. You're gonna wrestle better. But not everybody wants to do that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not on the Les Sigmund diet.
No.
Les and I used to wrestle together, so I know he's up there with you.
I was just wrestling with him today, actually.
Oh, good.
Ed, I got a question for you. Can you talk about your transition from NCAA? Now you're going to go wrestle freestyle full time. Can you talk about your plan to attack that, how you're sort of dealing with it? I mean, we've seen you already make a ton of strides since NCAA's till now. Can you talk about that transition?
It's definitely different. I have to get used to. I'm always used to taking shots and building my base, leaving my butt in the air and rolling around the mat, exposing my back all different types of ways. And once I took that in the freestyle, it was just like I was killing myself, and I was making a lot of things harder. Sorry, I'm gonna get moving. Kind of really dark over here.
Yeah.
But
So
but more the transition has been more of just getting used to taking shots and finishing different ways. Because a lot of these guys overseas and even guys here, they're starting to catch on to it a lot. Is that when people shoot, they go straight for a chest lock. They go straight for a crotch lock, throw you over, expose your back for a little bit. And I'm starting to get used to that a little bit more because I'm so used to all this control. You got to get used to exploding and throwing people over, exposing their back real quick, and then basing out and make sure you're not giving up any points. And my transition it's getting a lot better. I'm getting more used to it. My body's starting to react the way that I want it to react. I'm not starting to feel so vulnerable in a lot of these positions. And it's all a process.
good deal. All right, I'm gonna grab some Twitter questions for you. All right, I got one from at Capaldo Paul. He wants to know how many days a week do you train, and who wins between you and DT?
Days a week. Probably about 5 days a week. Maybe two days out of that week, I'll probably lift in the morning or do a circuit in the morning. Hour-wise, we probably only go for about an hour and a half every day. We try not to be in there too long. We try to put more into the time that we have in there. And what else? Yeah, like in the mornings, I try to. It depends on if I have a match or anything during that weekend. But if it's just a week where I'm just training, then it's like I'll probably go heavy in the mornings, come in and give myself body time to rest, come back in the afternoon and practice. And the second question, you might have to be in the room to see that. I'm just gonna say that I have a lot of weight on DT. That's it.
Fair enough. All right, I got another one. At Danny Mayday wants to know what your favorite off the mat activity is.
I play a lot of video games.
Call of Duty?
As you can see right here, I have a PS3 and a PS4. Got my TV. That's my whole setup. So I'm a big video gamer. I go out, hang out with friends. I like to watch movies and play video games a lot. I do so with people as well. And what's I do?
Yep. Favorite movie?
I'm a barber.
You cut hair.
Yeah. I cut my hair most of the time. It's a little rough right now, but
I do too. I know the feeling, man.
it's not clear enough so you can see it.
Awesome. Let's see. Okay, I got one. Jeff B. Smooth wants to know what type of music you listen to before you wrestle.
Oh, it depends on how I'm feeling. It's mostly music that pumps me up, fast-paced music. I listen to a lot of Future, Kid Cudi, Lil Jon, Drake. If it's a new album, I can listen to that. So I'm mostly rap and hip-hop. R&B sometimes. Every once in a while I'll probably listen to a Erykah Badu album. Sometimes I listen to Beyonce, Drunk in Love.
Keeping it classy, man. All right, so got one more. Let's do one more for you. From My Men Excursion, Ed, they want to know, they're a parent of a 9-year-old wrestler. What's the best piece of advice you were given by coach or parent ever?
Make the sport fun. At 9 years of age, if you push a kid, then they can shut down. You have to make it fun, and you got to make them feel like it's them who's making the choice to do it. I was talking to another parent the other day. He was like, I would go to my kids in the morning. I'd be like, hey, there's a tournament going on. Do you want to go? If these kids say no, he said, just let them go right back to sleep. But he said if they say yes, then we'll get up, get everything ready and take them. But he said it's gotten to the point where it's like, hey, there's a tournament going on, you want to go? And he says that almost every single time his son says yes. Both of his sons, they say yep, and they get their stuff ready and they go. So I mean, like if you get to that point where you actually make your kid want to do it, make him want to succeed, and make that choice feel like it's mostly his. Because I'll admit that wrestling's not an easy sport. It is one of the hardest sports that's out there, and it's going to be kind of hard to justify to a 9-year-old that he needs to lose a pound or he needs to train or he needs to do this, and it could be really difficult for them to kind of catch on to that. So you got to kind of let them have fun with it. If they win, they win. They lose, they lose. But make them feel like a winner every single time. Make them feel like they still want to do it. That's just all I can really tell you about that.
Good deal.
You lost it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not
Guess
good.
us now, guys.
Emil's gone. We're in charge.
Yeah, he was telling me, he was like, hey, have a good internet connection. I was like, yeah, all right.
All right.
Here, Ed, out of all the titles you've won, which one was your favorite?
I have to say my last one. It's the one I had to work the hardest for, and I don't like I always like the things that I work the most for. The one that I put the most blood and sweat and tears into are the ones that I can value the most. I can look at it and say, wow, yeah, I did that. I won that. That was all me. Makes me proud of that,
Sorry, guys, I fell off there for a second.
Lost connection.
Yeah, I guess so. No, do any of you guys have any other questions for Ed?
I'm good.
Hey Ed, now that you did transition to freestyle, what are your thoughts on Aaron Pico?
Aaron Pico? Wow. All I can say about that kid is wow. Because, he wrestled with one of our guys who's actually in our lineup this year, Zane Rutherford. And, he really took it to him, and just to see that somebody's at that kind of level and he's only 16 is just, that kid has the world in front of him. That's all I can say about that, and I watched a couple of his videos on YouTube. Kid's dedicated. And he's only 16, which is like pretty impressive. And I'm thinking like, wow, and he doesn't even want to go to college. He was like, I don't need college, I don't need high school. Let's go straight to freestyle. I was thinking myself, I was like, wow, this kid's not gonna go to college, he's not gonna get the chance to have that transition to kind of discover who he is or whatever. But he made a bold move. He said, "This is who I am. This is what I want to do. I want to wrestle. I want to win Olympics, and I want to fight." He just kept the basics simple. And, I'm like, wow, he made that type of decision at 16. I was like, I got a lot of respect for that kid. He just like, it seems like he has so much ahead of him right now.
Awesome. Ed, I got one for you, Ed. Can you talk about those wild U.S. Open matches you had? I mean, you were like every match. You got like 40 points in each match. I mean, what was going on? Just I don't even know, man. I was watching. I was just in awe. Just watching.
We were watching.
Yeah. Okay. He was watching too.
I went out there last year and I was like, wow. A lot of times when I was on the mat, I wasn't sure where I really stood. And then this year, it all seems so different because now I was a little bit heavier. I had to cut weight to actually make 89. It wasn't a lot, just a couple pounds. So I didn't feel like there was that size advantage. And then this time I was focusing more on feet. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take it to these guys on feet. I was like, my top game, bottom game, it may be a little shaky, but if I don't let them get on top, I don't have to worry about that. If I get on top, all I have to worry about is getting maybe 1 or 2 rolls. So I just kind of took it to the guys on their feet, did what I'm used to doing, and just took a whole bunch of shots. It was just like a lot of them were connecting. I was happy for that. Whatever. Sometimes if I can't do something easy, I'll do it the hard way. And I just figured, I was like, you know what, I'm going to just do it the hard way, and I'm just going to set the tone right now. So if these guys want to wrestle me again, they're going to expect me to shoot a lot of shots, and as I get better, then there's going to be turns, and there's going to be leg races, and then all that's going to kind of fall into place. But, they already have something to worry about. And I figured that if I can just keep showing them that I can still shoot shots, I can still keep up with you with points, and, it's just that's how it's gonna be. And that made all those matches crazy. It was like
Mhm.
it was either I would take shots, take the guy down, maybe hopefully I would get a tech, or if we didn't do it, we would roll back and forth all over the mat. There would be twos all over the place until somebody wins. I was willing to take that chance.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it, man. So, gonna be a World Team Trials, yeah, Madison. It's coming up at the end of the month. How's it gonna shake out, man?
I have no idea. I just know that I've been training. I've been getting ready for it. I've been taking 50 shots in practice every day. I'm working on top, bottom. So I don't, when that time comes around, I'm gonna see what I'm doing. Hopefully, I'm doing the right thing. And it'll pay off.
Awesome. Well, Ed, thanks for coming on with us, man. Taking some time out of your day. I know all these guys appreciate it too. And
No problem.
yeah, man, we'll see you at World Team Trials. Yeah.
Absolutely. Good luck, Ed.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Yep.
Have a
Thanks,
good
Ed.
one.